The Milwaukee Brewers stay red hot. They complete a series sweep over the Mets Sunday in Milwaukee, and they do it in walk-off fashion in the bottom half of the ninth inning. MLB Game Night, every game, every night, and we are underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
And we welcome you in, everyone, to our latest edition of MLB Game Night. He is Lindsay Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast. You can follow Lindsay on the X at Crosby Baseball. I'm Steve Lenox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast, part of the Locked On Sports Network. You can follow me on the X at Lenox on Baseball. Lindsay, the Brewers just continue to win. The Philadelphia Phillies pull off a series sweep, and Cal Raleigh finished off a big series at home in Seattle, homering again against the Tampa Bay Rays. We take you around the majors with MLB Game Night, and we are presented by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. Lindsay, it continued going north and trending in the positive direction and the right direction for the Milwaukee Brewers at home in Milwaukee against the Mets, who just continue to spiral out of control right now. Mets had a 5-0 lead in this game. Isaac Collins plays the role of hero. And let's hear from our guy. And, you know, it's just one of those right now as we welcome in Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers. And, Lindsay, we'll take you right out of Chuck talking. But, you know, he just expects to win. He's got the great big smile on his face. And all is good in his world right now.
Weekend. What a month. What a season for the Milwaukee Brewers. Walk-off winner in the bottom of the ninth inning. Down 5-0 at one point in this game. Everybody, Chuck Freeman, instant reaction, Locked On Brewers. Isaac Collins. We never talked about this guy in the offseason. He's easily one of their MVPs. He's just unbelievable. Walk-off home run, and the Brewers down 5-0 was a tough start for Priester. But that bullpen, DL Hall and the rest of those guys coming out, and then Collins goes yard on Edwin Diaz, one of the top closers in baseball. You know when they got to the bottom of the ninth inning, it was going to, I mean, they've had so many of these walk-off wins. Nobody's getting away with the Milwaukee Brewers, man. They are just unbelievable. Unbelievable. 9 wins in a row. See you a little bit later on tonight in the next edition of Locked On Brewers.
Chuck said it all right there.
I mean, at this point, they could do anything. I wouldn't be shocked. Now, I do have the giant question of, is this going to translate to the postseason? Because this reminds me so much of what Billy Beane said in Moneyball about the A's. Like, his stuff doesn't work in the postseason. They have built a team that over the long haul, when you play defense, you're super athletic. You can get clutch hits. You don't have amazing power, but you can do the little things right. You run the bases really well. Over the course of a season, it gets you to a place like they are. It gets you to first place. It gets you in the postseason. Can this work in October? This Brewers team feels like they're different, and I can't really put my finger on it. They just feel like they're a little bit different. Maybe it does, but I'm really, really curious to see what happens with.
And Chuck mentioned it, down 5-0, Lindsay.
Yep.
When you come back like this, a lot of it, Quinn Priester didn't have his best stuff, but DL Hall, terrific out of the bullpen. Nick Mears also, they combined for 4 2/3 scoreless. DL Hall was part of the package from Baltimore to Milwaukee for Corbin Burns. He's a guy who's had injuries from amateur into pro ball, but I could see this guy being a starting pitcher in the future, but right now works out of the bullpen and gives them length and a big part of why they're able to come back late and walk it off.
Yeah, it felt like part of the reason they put him in relief was because of all of those injuries. Was having trouble staying healthy, and it's one of those, you put him in relief, you can get something out of him versus a starting. I do think they might have, I want to say they have to stretch him back out into a starter in the offseason, but they seem to keep finding starters that half of us have never heard of. We didn't talk about Chad Patrick in the offseason, and he's been a key piece, things like that. So, I mean, everything worked out. William Contreras got 2 home runs. I was watching this game, and as it got to the bottom of the ninth, Juan Soto had gotten on in the ninth. They couldn't bring him in. Bottom of the ninth, and I said, I think I put it on X, and I'm like, they're going to walk this off. And boom, three pitches in, 4 pitches in, walked
2-2
off.
count.
2-2 count. There you go. 5 pitches in.
Yep.
First batter of the 9th inning, walked it off. And that's the Brewers right now.
We got Chuck's reaction, Locked On Brewers. Let's get Chris Schubert's reaction, Locked On Mets.
Poor Chris.
Is there to say the New York Mets cannot get out of their own way? They have now lost 7 games in a row. 11 of the last 12 just got swept by the Milwaukee Brewers. And instead of scoreboard watching Philadelphia, the Mets now need to scoreboard watch not only themselves, but the Cincinnati Reds as they are holding on to a slim lead in the NL wild card. The Mets right now just give teams opportunities. They leave the door open. Sometimes they open the door themselves and they just invite the opposition right in. They certainly did that today, blowing a 5-run lead to the Milwaukee Brewers. They had leads in all 3 games of this series. Today, not on the offense, scoring in the first 5 innings. You're seeing power from Brett Beatty. Soto had a good weekend. Cedric Mullins hit his first home run as a Met. The offense, the center of our problems as of late, discussing this baseball team, not the problem today. Sean Manaea didn't give the team length. Yes, I know the starters have been a problem, but the Mets need to turn to their bullpen, and they set it up today to go to their 3 big arms. Tyler Rogers working a 3rd straight day, Ryan Helsley, and Edwin Diaz, and those 3 could not get the job done. You just can't make it up. The Mets finding new ways to lose. Now they enter an off day. They'll go home. They start a series with the Atlanta Braves, and they are running out of time. They need to first snap this losing streak, and then they need to start to go on a run, or else they might not make the playoffs.
Didn't think that in June when they were 5.5 games up in the division on the Phillies. Now the Phillies are 5.5 up. We'll get into them in just a moment here.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, it doesn't get easier for the Mets. Like, yes, Atlanta's having a bad season. Atlanta just took it to Miami in a 5-game series, won 4 of those. And here's the thing. Like, Chris said it, it's self-imposed errors. The New York Mets are 4th in baseball in walks by their pitching. The Atlanta Braves lead all of baseball by over 20 in post-All-Star game walks. Like, none of these matchups are good for New York, and it's going to have to be internal. They've got to fix this. You can't go out and add guys at this point. And I don't know what it's going to do to the psyche of this team if they go from 5.5 up to not making the postseason, but it feels like it's possible right now.
When you're a team like the Mets right now and you're spiraling, you don't want your manager being out of character, but there are a lot of people calling on X, on social media, for Carlos Mendoza to show more reaction, whether it's in-game or when he has to do post-game. That's carried on SNY. It's carried on the regional sports network. And people, managers don't do that anymore. You can't go in the clubhouse and just start screaming, throwing things, and calling guys out. That doesn't work anymore.
They want performative emotion. Like, who cares?
That's the
you
thing.
Want that so that you feel better. That's not going to help the team. They're professionals. It's a veteran-laden squad. They're not all veterans, but it's a pretty veteran-laden squad. They've got to figure it out. Francisco Lindor has to figure it out. Juan Soto's got to step up. Pete Alonso. Those guys will make or break the season, not Mendoza flipping over a table or messing with the catering spread.
And to your point on that, and I liked how you said that, I go back, minor league baseball, 1999, Carolina League. Brian Snitker was in Myrtle Beach. Brian Snitker has been the same way, like you're saying.
Yeah,
he'll go in there and he'll do it when he has to.
Mm-hmm.
But he's more modern day manager, and he was that way when he came up through the Brave system. And it's interesting of how present day is. He was always even keeled, and like I said, he had the respect of every clubhouse he's ever worked in. So when he had to do it, he did it. But managers today, I don't know if Carlos Mendoza knows how to go in there and say the magic words or something.
Here's the thing. Like, Braves fans want Brian Snitker to show more emotion, but
Yeah.
You know what? They're playing well now, and he's the same guy he was.
Right.
Showing the emotion doesn't necessarily work. Look across town. Aaron Boone's been thrown out 5 times this year. Are they in the middle of a slump still? They are. It's performative emotion. Like, maybe in a specific situation, it might help if you can rally your guys up one time. You're just wanting emotion for the sake of emotion because you're mad and you want somebody to be held accountable. And when you see their passion, it makes you feel like someone's going to be held accountable because that guy's angry enough to do something about it. That's all it is.
Mention the Mets falling another game behind the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL Eastern Division, now 5.5 back. Phillies able to do something they've been trying to do recently, but unable to do it. They did it Sunday in Arlington against the Rangers. With the details, here's Mark Farzetta, Locked On Phillies podcast.
Talking about late last week, Phillies' inability to complete a sweep. Red Sox, Orioles, Yankees, well, they go up 2-0 against the Rangers, and they sweep them on out of Arlington themselves. How about that? Phillies pick up the 4-2 victory and back Zack Wheeler's first start in 8 days. Wheeler goes 5 innings, throws 83 pitches, strikes out 7, allows 2 runs on 3 hits, also 3 walks in the game. Velocity was down, not his best stuff, but still gave you 5 innings of 2-run baseball. So you'll certainly take that from Zack Wheeler. Again, his first start since having his start pushed back a couple of days there to get through some shoulder soreness. As for the lineup, the Phillies did produce in this one. They get 1 long ball from Edmundo Sosa. Then they manufacture runs after that with some small ball, including a sac bunt and a sac fly RBI to help get an insurance run in the top of the 9th inning there for the Phillies to close out the victory and the sweep of the Texas Rangers.
Road trip off to a great start. Now they go to Cincinnati, where they'll take on the Cincinnati Reds for the next 3. But 3-0 on what is a 10-game road trip through Cincinnati up next, and then Washington, D.C.
Like it's great ballparks, right? Cincinnati, they're going to do well with their offense there, and they've got help coming. Alec Boehm started the rehab assignment at AAA Lehigh Valley, so they could be back at full health. Now they have Aaron Nola also on his way back. Things are going up for the Phillies.
Yeah. And, as Connor mentioned, Saturday night into Sunday with Locked On MLB Game Night, Duran and the back end of that bullpen has been solid, has been terrific so far since coming over from the Twins at the deadline.
They're doing a lot better with their deadline deal for relievers than the Yankees are. I'll say that much.
Speaking of the Yankees, Jose Altuve homered early on for the Astros. Astros take the finale in the Bronx on Sunday, and with that, they take the series 2-1 over the Yankees. We've got one of our co-hosts with MLB Game Night, Brian McKeon, with the details on the Yankees side as Max Fried was tagged with the loss.
Boy, it just gets worse and worse and worse as the Astros beat the Yankees 7-1 in the final game of this series, where the Yankees actually had a chance to win the series against the Astros. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees, and every chance the Yankees have to redeem themselves and maybe bounce off of a really big win, they wind up losing immediately after and destroying any momentum they could have possibly gained, as they now fall directly out of a playoff spot with the last spot in the wild card. Cleveland is ahead of them based on the loss column, which is just utterly pathetic. I want to blame Brian Cashman. I do. But this is a $300 million payroll with plenty of talent that should at bare minimum be in a playoff spot. That isn't. It's a 7-1 loss. Max Fried didn't give you enough room in the game. Didn't give the bullpen enough room. Overall, a horrible series. We'll break it all down on Locked On Yankees.
Real quick on this, Steve. Max Fried wasn't great. 8 hits, 4 runs in 5 innings. You had 3 singles, and you were 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position. It's not Max Fried's fault that you lost.
Yeah. I did not realize this, but the Astros are actually going home for the first time since the trade deadline. They open up a 3-game series against the Red Sox and face Garrett Crochet on Monday. But Carlos Correa back to Houston for the first time since being traded from the Twins.
Wasn't this their usual rodeo road trip where they have to spend like 2 weeks on the road because the rodeo's there in Houston?
And the Spurs have something like that during the NBA season where they're on the road for like 2.5, 3 weeks.
But hey, I'm just glad that Correa gets to have that homecoming now. That's going to be fun to watch on Monday. Guess who's going to be playing them? Your Red Sox.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And Garrett Crochet goes in game 1. And is it Christian Javier?
Christian Javier, yeah.
Comes off
season debut.
Yeah, in game 1. We'll see how he does over the first couple of outings. I'm not sure how far out he's extended, but if he can provide some more depth in that pitching rotation, and again, a guy we sort of touched on with Aaron Nola, sort of having a rest, but you're coming in fresh now. Mm-hmm. And you should be able to, build up August into September and be ready to go for the Astros come October. Some of these guys coming off injuries, they could have a real impact here. And Christian Javier, to me, is one of those guys.
Yeah, like they always need more pitching reinforcements in Houston, it feels like, and I'm excited to see what he does when he comes back.
All right. I really didn't think we were going to go 15 plus minutes here in the opening segment, Lindsay, but we are. And hey, the Mariners do finish off the series sweep real quick. Cal Raleigh, another home run, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs in the series. Now 45 on the season for Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, he's tied with Johnny Bench for most home runs in a season by a catcher. I feel like, second most. Salvador Perez had 48 in 2021. I still feel like Cal's probably going to take this record. Brian Wu was fantastic again. 3 earned runs across 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, 7 hits. They've got 6 on the road, and they're all East Coast. I haven't checked into this. I feel like these West Coast teams play worse on the East Coast because of the effect on their body clock, especially in day games.
Yeah. Blue Jays needed a victory Sunday in Los Angeles against the Dodgers to avoid the series sweep. And guess what? They did hold on and win it as the Dodgers left the bases loaded in the bottom half of the 9th inning. We'll have the details next. It's MLB Game Night.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Day Hue. For MLB fans, this company absolutely hits the mark because Game Day Hue makes clean, no logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. It's all about letting your colors speak for you. No giant logos, just smart, versatile style that works on game day, on the course, or anywhere in between. I'm a Braves fan, so I've got a navy blue hat with the red rope on it. Goes really well. It's subtle. It's stylish. I can rep my team, but I don't have giant logos going everywhere. It pairs perfectly with my usual gear. Doesn't replace my team logo stuff. It just adds to the lineup. And then I've also got a white cap with a blue rope. I stashed it in the Jeep, Jeep hair, all that kind of stuff. And so no matter if I'm tailgate tea time, just out running errands, whatever it is, I always get compliments on just how clean the hat looks because that is the style that's in right now. It's not just hats. Check out their split shade gloves made for the golf course. It is the perfect gift for the sports fan that has everything. Right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GameDayHue.com. That's GameDayHue, HUE.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals. So now is the time to load up. Let your colors talk because colors speak louder than words. That's GameDayHue.com, code MLB15.
Continuing right here, MLB Game Night. Glad you're with us on the Sunday into Monday. And as of Monday, just 7 weeks left in the Major League Baseball regular season. We get to Blue Jays and Dodgers in a moment, but let's start with the Guardians and White Sox, Lindsay. Guardians missed an opportunity to go in front of the Yankees for that final wild card spot in the American League. They dropped the series finale in Chicago against the White Sox, and our guy Justin Latta, Locked On Guardians, has the details.
Parts about the Guardians' most recent hot stretch and winning streak was that the starting pitching has really been strong, and the Guardians haven't had to rely on Jose Ramirez and Steven Kwan to do any of the heavy lifting, really. But on Sunday, that all came to an end as a 6-4 loss for the Guardians to the Chicago White Sox. What's up? This is Justin Latta of Locked On Guardians. Slade Ciccone hit hard early against the White Sox, gave up 5 runs. The Guardians couldn't recover. Not really a shock. Slade Ciccone has been hit hard at times this year, has gotten a little bit of luck. We've talked about that on Locked On Guardians, where the expected stats, the underlying stats have been a little bit iffy. We've just chose to ignore those while he's pitching well and having good results, but that didn't hold up. At least he didn't walk guys. He didn't beat himself on Sunday. Jose Ramirez and Steven Kwan did not contribute anything on Sunday. They didn't contribute anything all weekend, really. They haven't really contributed anything during the stretch, and that, of course, that was going to catch up to them. Kyle Manzardo, though, 2 home runs. He's got 20 home runs. This is the first full year in the big leagues for him. He's got a 190 WRC plus in the second half. He's been fantastic. The Guardians, though, they do lose ground. The White Sox, or the Tigers, they're back to 6 games back, but the Yankees lost, so they remain a game bound of the wild card spot, and they get an off day on Sunday to try to start this again on Tuesday. So tune to Locked On Guardians for all that, plus a lot of minor league updates coming your way.
All right, I have it as a half game, and again, they could have moved in front. Did not do that on Sunday, but as Justin mentioned there, nothing from Kwan, nothing from Ramirez over the weekend. I kind of feel like they're going to get hot here in the coming days, coming series.
See, for some reason, I don't have the same confidence. It's just it's something where the offense hasn't been good all year. Offense hasn't been good in like 3 years, and it just feels so like this is not the time. Like I have nothing to make me feel like this is the time they're going to do it. And every time I think maybe they're on the verge, they have a game like today where they don't get anything from the Stars. Flip side of this, Colson Montgomery for the White Sox is starting to look like he could be a dude. Hit a home run today in the first inning. He just keeps producing in his first call up, and it kind of makes you wonder, is the ceiling raised a little bit for this team next year?
All right, let's move on. Blue Jays, Dodgers in Los Angeles. Blue Jays hold on, win the finale 5-4 with the win. They avoid a series sweep. Dodgers do take 2 out of 3. Vladdy Jr., Addison Barger, both homering off Blake Treinen in the 8th inning. Dodgers tied it in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bases loaded, walk to Freddie Freeman. Then in the top of the 9th, Ernie Clement, a home run. Bottom of the 9th inning, Jeff Hoffman walks 3. John Schneider, how about this? Goes to the rookie Mason Fluharty. He strikes out Shohei Ohtani, left-on-left matchup. Then he gets Mookie Betts on a fielder's choice ground out to end it. And the Blue Jays leave the bases loaded in that inning. Jeff Hoffman didn't get it, but I give John Schneider a tremendous amount of credit, understanding he had to go somewhere else to get the final 2 outs.
I mean, and shout out to Fluharty, just the guys he had to get out to get that. Fantastic move. Also, Hoffman got the win here. 2/3 of an inning officially pitched, 5th blown save, 7th win of the year, 5 walks, no hits, no runs, no strikeouts. I've never seen that stat line before. Makes a lot more sense when you realize it's divided across multiple innings, but still 5 walks, no runs, 2 outs. He gets a win. Wild.
Can I give this an 8 in terms of scale 1 to 10? This was an 8 in terms of the victory, the way they won it for the Toronto Blue Jays.
This is the kind of win where you get the contribution, you get the late runs, your superstar comes through in Vlad's solo homer, you get the young guy stepping up in Fluharty. This is the kind of win that teams can kind of rally behind and can give you momentum for the final bit of the season. Like this could be a big deal. We could look back on this and say, hey, they were scuffling, they lost 2 in a row. They held on, they came back to beat the Dodgers, and that's when they went on this awesome run into the postseason.
And they pick up a game on the Red Sox. Red Sox dropped 2 out of 3 in San Diego against the Padres, losing the finale as the Padres scored 5 of their 6 runs in the game, win it 6-2. 5 of their 6 runs, 5 runs against Brian Bayo, all with 2 outs in an inning. Dylan Cease was impressive. 6+ innings, 6 scoreless to start, gave up 2 runs in that 7th inning without being on the mound. He struck out 7, and the Padres, again, 5 runs with 2 outs against Brian Bayo. Luis Ariz had a great series, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Red Sox struck out 28 times in the 2 losses Saturday and Sunday in San Diego.
Steve, that's a lot.
Yes.
They had 36 straight games with at least 1 extra base hit. That streak got snapped too. Just frustrating there for the Red Sox.
In many ways, they reverted back to the Red Sox of May.
Yeah.
We'll see if things change with Cristian Hernandez, we touched on.
And now they have to go to Houston and take on a red-hot Astros team. That's a tough draw.
Yeah. The Cincinnati Reds drop the first 2 at home against the Pirates. Come back and win the next 2 and get a split of the series. Here's our guy, Locked On Reds, Jeff Carr. And Jeff is in a rhyming state of mind. Take a listen.
Marte should play every day. What do you say? We might go down by the bay. Just may. Okay, anyway, that was a bad attempt at that one. But yes, Noelvi Marte deserves everyday playing time, and he showed why on Sunday in a game where the Reds were just scoring runs at will, and for some reason giving them up at will until the final couple of innings there. It was all about the hitting, and Noelvi Marte came up with a lot of big hits in this one. Miguel Andujar in the cleanup spot looked really well, and Spencer Steer coming up with some more clutch hits as well. You love to see these guys playing the way that they are, but for me, the big takeaway from Sunday's game was all about Noelvi Marte. He absolutely deserves to be in the lineup every single time the Cincinnati Reds lace him up. The Pirates, they were pesky, but the Reds earned a split, and now they are 1.5 games out of the NL wild card. This is crazy. This is going to be a really fun ride to the end of the season.
I want to point out how weird this was that the Reds scored 4 runs in the first 3 games of the series and then put up 14 today. That's baseball.
Yeah, and listening to Jeff there at the end, Lindsay, this lost opportunity, though, with the fact that they do split the series against the Pirates in Pittsburgh, and lucky to get the split after dropping the first 2, but you take 3 out of 4 in the series, the way the Mets have been spiraling, we've touched on that plenty, they could be even closer in that wild card race.
Yeah, I mean, game 1, you had Skeens on the mound. That's going to be hard to think you can get a sweep in there. But Mitch Keller was beatable if you chose to hit. That was the game. I think they went like 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They struck out like 9 times and just didn't get anything outside of Gavin Lux. And they're in game 2. They absolutely missed a chance to catch up, especially with the great start they had from Chase Burns. That was the 6 innings, 1 run on 3 hits with 10 strikeouts game from Chase Burns, and they lost it. So definitely missed an opportunity here, but they have an opportunity to hopefully make up some more ground. And again, the Mets are scuffling. Maybe they pass the Mets.
Let's wrap up segment number 2 here, MLB Game Night, with your Braves taking, 4 out of 5 from the Marlins. They win the finale in Atlanta on Sunday.
Yeah, Braves won the finale 7-1. The big deal for me is top 3 in the lineup kind of doing what they're supposed to do. 5 hits, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 5 runs from the combination of Jurickson Profar, Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna has 3 homers in the last 2 games in this series. Matt Olson had a solo shot here. Joey Wentz continues to be fantastic with the Braves, 5 1/3, 1 run. And first time the Braves have won 3 games in a row since mid-June against the Mets, conveniently when they swept the Mets at home. Also, the first time the Braves have scored 7 or more runs in 3 consecutive games all season. So they're feeling good right now. Drake Baldwin's still battling Isaac Collins for Rookie of the Year, and they get to go into New York where they've been very good against the Mets this year. So maybe a little momentum for the Braves. We'll see if they can wrap the season on a high note. Or I guess Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, wrap the season on a high note. There you go.
Cubs and Cardinals wrapped up their series in St. Louis at Busch Stadium Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. The Cubs drop another one to St. Louis, and with that, they fall another game behind the Milwaukee Brewers in that NL Central. We've got the details next. It's MLB Game Night.
Folks, mark your calendars. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day. It's a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP shot, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champion before we even get to week 1, this is your moment. Take a flyer on the MVP race. Maybe you think Josh Allen's going to get the thing done this year. You can crown your champion in August. Is this the year the Eagles get back to the Super Bowl? Maybe you parlay your division winner dark horses. Are the Falcons going to finally take over the top of the NFC South behind Michael Penix and Bijan Robinson? Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game.
Segment number 3, MLB Game Night. Steve Lenox, Lindsay Crosby, glad you're with us as we've got now 7 weeks left in the Major League Baseball regular season. The Cubs drop another game further behind the Milwaukee Brewers in the NL Central. Jojo Romero getting the job done out of the Cardinals bullpen Sunday night, left 2 runners stranded and got the final out. Let's get the details from the Cubs side as they drop 2 of 3 to their NL Central rival, St. Louis Cardinals. We welcome in Sam Olber, Locked On Cubs.
Controversial call here at the end of this one in a Cubs 3-2 loss to the Cardinals. But when you're playing bad baseball, things aren't going to go your way. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. John Birdie was called out stealing in the 9th. Probably would have came around to score if everything was equal. But I don't. It is what it is. I mean, he was probably safe, but who cares? When you're playing like this, you can't hit. You keep doing the same things. You keep saying the same things, and you're just hoping. You're not doing anything proactive. You're not changing around the lineup. You're not calling up guys. You're not, there's no intensity. You're just waiting for things to change. The same thing's going to happen. We have 2 years of evidence in 23 and 24, and Cubs are 28 and 27 now in their last 55 games, and we know what Milwaukee's been able to do. And the division is run away from you, or is running away from you, and there's no answer. In this game, it was just pretty good effort from Shota. Made a bad pitch to Gorman late in the game for the game-winning hit. Matt Shaw had a 2-run homer, but there's no offense, nothing. Kyle Tucker had a little broken bat bloop single. Pete had a single. No slug from those guys, and just same old story. No offense again. 5-5 now against this average Cardinals team on the season. Lost 4 of your last 6 against Cincy and St. Louis. Just rough stuff.
Cardinals are game over 500, but as Sam says, Mets and Cubs right now, their tires are stuck in the mud, and they need something positive. Just it's not just one positive. It's not just one win. They need a good week to start feeling better about themselves. Both clubs.
Yeah, and Sam touched on it. For the Cubs, it's really the slug. Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow Armstrong. Pete really was the engine that was driving this offense in the first part of the season when they were leading baseball in runs scored. And they're really hurting right now with those two guys not doing much as far as extra base hits, slugging, and things like that. And I mean, here's the thing. We keep talking about this. This is the only season you probably have Kyle Tucker. Like you gotta fix him. You gotta fix it quickly because he probably leaves in free agency after this year. The Cubs have not spent money like they have a billionaire owner. So you got to figure it out, and you got to do it soon.
All right, we'll do a little back and forth here. I'll go Royals, Twins. Twins walk off in the 11th, 5-3 victory. With that, they take 2 of 3 at home at Target Field from the Royals. Luke Keeschel, 2-out, 2-run home run off Carlos Estevez to win it. 9th walk-off win of the season for the Twins. The Royals did not move the runner from second in the 10th. They did not move the runner from second in the 11th inning. And Twins, Ryan Fitzgerald, 2 hits, including a 2-run home run. That in the 3rd inning, his first in the big leagues.
Nationals at Giants. They won their first series in the last 4 attempts, 8-0 over San Francisco, 17 hits while holding the Giants to just 3. Mackenzie Gore, all 3 of those hits were singles over 6 innings, no runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Maybe stabilized things a little bit after he was so hot early. James Wood goes 2 for 5, 2 doubles, 4 RBI. Josh Bell, 3 hits. Paul DeJong, 3 hits. But flip side of this, Justin Verlander, 11 hits, 5 runs in 5 innings, but he got his 35th, 100th career strikeout, which is a big deal. 10th pitcher all time to do that.
Diamondbacks franchise record, 9 straight hits, part of an 8-run 5th inning. They out-hit the Rockies 17-16, won the finale 13-6 with the win on Sunday. Arizona able to complete the series sweep. Ketel Marte, 2 hits, double, 3 RBIs. Adrian Del Castillo, 3 hits, double, home run, 3 RBIs, 2-out, 3-run home run, that in the 1st inning early on.
A's scored 2 in the 9th to beat the Orioles in Camden Yards 3-2. This is something they dropped the opener Friday night. They've now won 2 out of 3. Willie McIver had a 2-run double there in the 9th. They went to DC and Baltimore, Nationals, Orioles. They go 4-2 on this. And Elvis Alvarado gets a 5-out, pitches the last 5 outs, gets his first career win here. But they did lose Brent Rooker in the 8th to an injury. Mark Kotsay said it's just preventative, just precautionary. They think he's going to be okay.
That is a wrap for our latest edition of MLB Game Night. Make sure you tell your friends all about us and hit that notification button. That's going to alert you as to when we go live with our latest edition of MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.